Alright, so I got the fuel pump in for the Porsche. I put some plastic and some towels down around the carpet to keep any gas from getting on them. So the first thing I'm going to start with is just blowing all the crap off of this thing and trying to get rid of as much of this dirt as possible. Alright, so we'll go ahead and blow this out. Try to blow as much of the dirt back under here as I can. Alright, so now we'll pull this connector and hose connection off. Looks like I might need to get a pick angle to get down to the bottom of that hose. Alright, so got that connector out. I had no choice. Here's the actual clip in here, and then there's supposed to be a spot, I think, that you can clip that or grab it or slide a tool down in that part. I tried sliding picks down in there and everything. I just had to get down under there with this hook, you know, and then pick that part out. And when I squeeze this part or whatever, it's very brittle and old and it just snapped, but the locking mechanism's still there, so it'll stay on once it's reinstalled. That's not going to be an issue. So now I got to get this fuel line loose. Okay, so if you're doing this, your releases are in these little slots down here on the bottom, on the side. I'll pull this off and show you. So the little releases for the clip on that side and the other side, and you got to get in there with your pick and release that, and then that white clip here will pop up and out. I apologize for fan noise if you're hearing that, but it is hot. Okay, so now I've just got to get a hammer and get this ring around the tank loose, and then we'll be ready to pull this fuel pressure regulator out, and then under that's the fuel pump. Okay, so now I'm just going to knock this ring out of here. I'm looking to see which way it locks under. Looks like it's this way we have to knock it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Now that that ring's off, I'm gonna blow it out again. Now this regulator should be ready to come up and out of here. It's got a nice, mostly full tank of gas down in here. Whenever they bring them to you, they bring them empty, except when they need a fuel pump. That's when they bring them full. So we got to unplug these electrical connectors down here. Okay, then we can get it up a little farther. Then we got to remove, I believe it looks like these two, a couple of these lines. Let's see what we got here. So our fuel pump's actually down in here. There's a line coming off of it right here. I may have to siphon some of this gas out of this thing. It's got a lot of gas. I don't want, I'm going to remove my light. Just don't want any sparks. I think this twist and comes up out of here. Okay, so this one connects to here. It's got a couple of squeezy tabs and this line comes off. Squeezing better with this. See if we can get it. Okay, there's that line. I don't know exactly where this line goes, but we're going to unhook it too. Maybe. Fuel drain back down in there. Okay, I'm not sure is where this one actually goes. It might go over to the other side. Let me go look at the new pump. Try to show you what's going on here. This line right here is directly attached to this pump. On this one, it'll unclip. But it comes with this whole line, I think probably for this reason. But this runs over the hump in the fuel tank to the other pump. So I've actually got to get to the other pump to unplug that line to take this fuel pump out. And then feed that line back in. I'm going to get some gas cans and see if I can't siphon some of this fuel out of here. Make it a little easier to work with. Alright folks, I've got the fuel pump in, and so I did have to take the fuel pump out on this side, and then I broke this little plastic clip. It was one just like this, and I turned the camera off and threw some tools around for a while and said some words, but this clip is actually the same one that's used on Volkswagen. So to find that little plastic fuel retaining clip, I had to special order this from AutoZone, and it fits Volkswagen Golf Jetta 2003 through 99. It also fits the Porsche Cayenne for probably those same years. So now we're ready. That fuel line here is all reattached. Everything's hooked back up. I want to put the cover back on that side, ready to start it up and see if it'll idle. So let me go grab the key and we'll do that. Alright, so one of my viewers had actually recommended that I look at freeze frame data to see if there's if it shows me where it set the first code and what code it set in there. So I think I gotta go to special functions, global OBD2. Oh no, now it's gotta sync up again. Should be a way to see a freeze frame data if this has it, or if this tool can read it. It runs now. I noticed there's just a tad bit of hesitation when you first crack that throttle open. So let's go. Let's say special functions, OEM enhanced. Usually there's a freeze frame data under here. Not there. I can go to menu But normally if there's freeze frame data available, when you hit the DTCFF button, press S for system menu. So there is an all module scan. I don't know. It's not supported for this vehicle. Nothing's supported but global OBD2. And that doesn't show me any freeze frame data, I don't think. We'll see. I can see short-term fuel trim negative 3.9, long-term 0. Short-term fuel trim bank 2 3.1, long-term fuel trim bank 1 1.6. That's all perfectly fine. That's all the live data I think it gives me. I have it stored. It'll show me beside it if there's freeze frame data available. Boy, it don't give you much but fuel trims, engine RPM, and vehicle speed, which is wrong. Crankshaft position or camshaft position sensor A, circuit intermittent, bank 1 or single sensor, engine coolant temperature low, stored, incorrect immobilizer key. I think that's because it needs a battery, but that's pending. That's it. So let's go ahead, we'll clear these DTCs out and do that. I can't get into any freeze frame data on this. It's either not stored or this tool just doesn't see it or read it on this car. Wow, I just heard the idle change just a hair. Once it cleared that, it must be relearning some parameters. Check engine light is out. And you can see all the readiness monitors are going to have to reset as they drive it. But there's no active codes, so there's no code that won't go away. So we're back from a red to a yellow status. Once those monitors set, it should go green, unless it seems to still has a tad of a hesitation when you first crack that throttle open. I think that is like vacuum related, maybe a MAF sensor, something like that, but it runs fine. So I think it's running just as good as it probably was before, and we'll clear that check engine light and they can see if it comes back on. Alright, so that's the Porsche fix. I am sorry that I did not get the recording done of the actual fuel pump install there, as far as taking the other side off. All the lines are down inside, they're in gasoline. You got to try to pull them up, disconnect them, squeeze them, pull things apart. And the one line comes off of a Y adapter, so you're trying to get that apart without breaking the other lines. It's probably not a fuel pump to do by yourself if you're like a complete noob at doing stuff, because you're probably going to break some hose or something, and you're going to have to special order it. I even broke that clip and had to special order that. So got it done though. It runs. It took a couple days longer than I wanted it to. Really, it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. So from the time this hit my driveway was last Tuesday, it's now the following week on Thursday. So a week and 2 days. Just because it took a week for the fuel pump to get here, and then I had to wait on those clips. That's probably the bad thing about working on like cars like Porsches and Volkswagens. Volkswagen owns Porsche, and a lot of European cars and stuff, is they're just hard to find parts for. It's hard to find aftermarket parts that are affordable. A lot of times they don't keep them in stock at AutoZone, so in an emergency, if you want to get it out of your driveway, you can't just run up there and grab the part. So I don't know how many more Porsches I'll work on. But after this is Mini Cooper coming with no turbo, and we'll see how that goes. I feel like Eric the car guy. But it's working. We'll see if the check engine light comes back. You know, just if you do this, good luck. Just be patient and realize that even if you're doing the primary pump, you got to pull a secondary pump up out of there in order to get the one hose connected. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Pro.